This is National Arts. I'm Mike Baker, and we are on Broadway. We're about to take a look at two outstanding Broadway productions, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and The Beauty Queen of Leenane. The Beauty Queen of Leenane is one of the most decorated plays from the '98 season. It boasts 3 Tony Award-winning actors and the Drama Desk and Outer Circle Critics Awards for Outstanding New Play. All well-deserved, I might add. This Druid Theatre Company and Royal Court Theatre production was penned by the brilliant young Irish playwright Martin McDonagh. First staged in County Galway, Ireland, The Beauty Queen of Leenane is an immensely humorous and deeply moving psychological drama peppered with self-fulfilling prophecies and universal truths.
For the pleasure of my company he come. Killing you would just be a bonus for him. Killing you, I bet he first would be. I could live with that. As long as I was sure he'd be clobbering you soon after.
This extraordinary play, we didn't have to change a word of it. You were amazed where this gift, because I've used the word genius, and it's not something I throw around very often, but his sense of theatre is quite extraordinary. I mean, other playwrights write plays of varying quality, but this young man wrote a play that is true, passionate, funny, terrifying, but in a theatrical style that grips the audience. And that's what I find extraordinary. But only once in a very rare while do you find a play that captures the imagination of the audience. And it's done so in England, in Ireland, in Australia, and now in America, and in 22 other different countries. It's been translated in Japan, Germany. It's been played in Israel at the moment, in Jerusalem. It's been running since January, in different languages. The sense of theatre and the theme, the mother and daughter theme, is universal. Everyone has a mother, and whatever you feel about your mother, the clashes of temperament, of love, of hate, whatever, but everyone in that audience recognizes some tussle they've had with their mother, big or small.
Arsing me round, huh? Interfering with my life again. Isn't it enough? I'm on beck and call for you every day for the past 20 years. Is it one evening out to begrudge me?
Young girls should not be out gallivanting with fellas.
Young girls? I'm 40 years old, for feck's sake. Finish it!
I don't know if anybody's touched on this or not, but I have tremendous sympathy for your character because you have endured an awful lot of abuse, maybe physical, maybe not, from the daughter, and you have put up with her, and she doesn't survive without you. She's not able to stand on her own 2 feet.
I totally love you. You're the first person who has ever said that to me. Everyone sees what's happened to Maureen, and they do not see that although Mags, because she's frail, she's old, if she wants to get back at the daughter, she does it verbally. She can't do it physically. But Maureen is physical. She has injured her. She has poured a cup of hot Complan, that protein drink, over her head. She does take the porridge out of her hand when she becomes impatient and slings it in the bucket. She does inflict little cruelties on her, but so many people don't see that. And of course the playwright is clever in that it takes a bit of discernment to see that.
Anyone watching this that's had children leave the nest has to feel great sympathy for her, because being alone is one of the most difficult things as a human being in this world.
I totally agree with you. The great Mother Teresa of Calcutta, when she had an experience of visiting the Western countries, said that she felt sorry because loneliness was the greatest thing that was wrong with our countries. We have everything, all these things, but loneliness, which you may not have in the more primitive countries. But to think of Mags alone in Leenane, it's very beautiful, but it's very lonely. There's only a tiny, hardly a village, and these mountains, and to have her in inaccessible, bleak little cottage. Could you imagine her alone there? She must be terrified. Yes.
Well, I hadn't noticed you there at that time, Maureen. How was I to know the beauty queen of Leenane was still yet to arrive?
The beauty queen of Leenane? Would you get away with it?
It's true.
Marie, what a fascinating character Maureen is. She's a victim, isn't she?
I suppose she is in a lot of ways, as the story unfolds, but I always think that she tries so hard. I think that's one of her strengths. I mean, she is aware to some degree, if you like. It's not up to me to decide what the degree is, that she's, you know, she's had this illness and she's in this situation, but she tries to get on with her life. She tries to make things happen. She tries to make love happen for her, or, you know, an end to the isolation, we'll say. So I love her for that.
Maureen lives in a fantasy world.
Yes.
Pretty much everything she concocts is a self-defense mechanism.
Indeed, yes, I think that too. Although I don't delve in it too much, because I don't really feel that I have the right to make decisions, hard and fast decisions about Maureen. I have to leave that for the audience. I think all I can do is tell the story that's written as truthfully as I possibly can. And of course it'll have to come from Gary's perception and my own perception and our unified perception of how that happens.
It's an immensely funny play.
Hugely funny, yeah. I love Martin McDonagh's humour. It's what would you say? It's a humour of cruelty in a lot of ways. It's very dark and black, but extremely funny. I mean, you know, the setups, and it's extremely funny.
We see a lot of the generational differences in this piece, don't we?
Yes, indeed, yes, yes.
Almost 3 generations here.
Almost 3, yes. I think with the young character, Ray, who's constantly bored and wants to move on and is tied to the home place. He's just gone through that whole mental thing, you know.
Not watching telly for yourself, no?
I'm not. It's only Australia now to do ever showing that thing.
Sure, that's why I do like it. Who wants to see Ireland on the telly?
I do.
Well, all you have to do is look out your window to see Ireland. And soon bored you'll be. There goes a calf.
The character of Ray talks about his affection for foreign shows on television. How ironic that he's so obsessed with something that's so passive. TV kind of is in keeping with his character, isn't it?
Yeah, he's quite a young guy, and he's stuck in this town, and he desperately wants to get out, but yet he doesn't really have the means yet to do that. So he kind of gets lost in his imagination and sort of, you know, goes into these, you know, television shows and just, you know, gets caught up in them and practically lives his life through them, and, you know, they mean a lot to him. And
the tragedy, of course, of having to leave Ireland to look for a job if you're a young person is you go to England and you say, this is sort of interesting that nobody even cares if you live or die. That's a blessing, isn't it? Because in the small town in which you live, they know all your business.
yeah, yeah. I think that there's something about Irish young people that we do need to go away and grow up and come back, and we need to sort of have that space to do that. And some people get the opportunity to do that, and some people don't. But I think it's always sort of been a part of the Irish psyche that we do have to leave for a time and then come back. And you know, often economic situations, you know, make that, you know, even more imperative.
If you think about this piece, there's something in this play for everyone.
Yeah.
Mothers, daughters, sons, everyone.
The whole thing has been a really great experience. I mean, especially when you consider that when we started doing this, I mean, we started on a very wet day in Galway, and we were going to do a limited run. And we didn't know how people would react to this play. I mean, we knew it was a good story, but you know, Martin was, you know, he discovered a whole new language for these people. I mean, the way these people speak isn't the way people speak in Ireland. It's a language created by Martin. And you know, we didn't know how people would react to that, and on what level people would take that on. And so when it all took off, it was just incredible. And to end up on Broadway, when we started off in Galway, and all the smaller places we've been to with it, and to think now we're on Broadway. I mean, it's such an incredible journey.